very special Shoptalk Europe preview edition of the Retail Field Report, People of Retail. Retail Field Report will be out at Shoptalk Europe, bringing you several conversations with the retailers and speakers in attendance, thanks to the support of Miracle. Miracle and Retail Field Report will be set up in booth F51. So come by, say hello. And if you're not already signed up, you can still sign up for Shoptalk Europe. You can still get tickets to the show. Just head to shoptalkeurope.com. Okay, I'm so excited to get things kicked off because today, 1 week from today to be exact, I will be joined on stage by my next guest, Westwing CEO, Andreas Hoerning. Andreas, welcome to Retail Field Report. Are you getting excited for our session?
I'm super excited for our session. Thank you so much, Anne, for introducing me here and for hosting the session. And I'm really, really happy to be able to talk to you and share a bit about the evolution of Westwing's customer experience, especially the offline part.
Yes, I know. I am too, because you're a D2C retailer. You're going into stores. You've got several in Europe already. Yep. Now, before we get started, though, because Westwing was new to me, I imagine it may be new to some of the audience members listening right now. So if you don't mind, Andreas, will you just give us a quick overview of the brand so that people can be familiar as we continue the conversation?
Absolutely. So Westwing we call ourselves the beautiful living company. So we are a digitally native home and living company, a design company, because we have our own collection, the Westwing collection, and we also sell third-party design brands, mainly Danish and Italian brands. And we operate in 23 countries in Europe on a GMV of roughly €500 million.
Wow. And Danish and Italian design, I don't know that it gets better than those when it comes to my personal design influence. So you're not in the US yet, but you better be the first one to let me know once you do, because I've got a list for you already, Andreas.
That sounds fantastic, Anne. That sounds great.
Okay, well, so why was Shoptalk Europe an absolute yes for you and for the Westwing brand this year?
Well, for one, actually, our upcoming discussion, right? So I'm really excited to do this. The opportunity actually brings me to Barcelona in the end. And on the other hand, I'm also going to Barcelona this year to simply learn from others on their innovations, mainly in the customer experience field. So we'll be talking a lot about offline and omnichannel, and I'm interested generally in learning what is the what's the evolution in customer experience and how to think about customer experience in the different industries, in fashion and beauty, of course, and also in my own, etc.
Right. I mean, because they all have overlapping components because customers are shopping across all these categories, right?
Absolutely.
So first, you and I I'll be talking with the global operating officer at Sephora. So we'll kick off that conversation really starting from the perspective of someone who's built out stores significantly. But you and I specifically are going to talk about how you think about what you just alluded to earlier, how you as a digitally native business start thinking about what that experience looks like offline. So when we sit down, like, what are you most hoping that we talk about on stage when it comes to, the experiences that you're creating for the Westwing customer?
Yeah. Well, and I think you already mentioned the core of it. Like, how does a digitally native brand, how does that translate? If you want to go into into a physical space, how does your brand translate? How does your customer experience translate from a digital one into a physical one? And I think what we'll probably then touch upon is that there's obviously no one size fits it all, right? That doesn't exist. I think when you think about a physical experience for a digitally native brand, you're going to think about, what are the brand's products? So what is the experience that you want to bring to your customer, what are related to your products? And the other one is obviously other goals that you want to achieve, brand-wise, connection-wise, et cetera, et cetera. And there are, all sorts of ways how to think about it. And I'm curious to discuss that with you, what these different ways are and why Westwing took the path that we actually went down.
Yeah, I mean, Andres, what were some of the kind of requirements as you were thinking about some of the early stores for Westwing? What were some of the things that had to be true about your physical location? Where did you kind of overinvest so that there was continuity between what the customers knew as of Westwing as an online retailer versus what they might experience in store, especially since that footprint is finite?
Yeah, that's true. I think mainly two things. So one, we put a lot of emphasis on finding the right location. So it has to be the right environment for our brand. And the second part was we actually over-invested also into inspiration. So we didn't try to squeeze in as many products as possible into the space, but we actually let a lot of room for inspiration, not just listing products, but actually creating spaces where your imagination can start to flow, et cetera, because that lies in the DNA of Westwing. Westwing is a very inspirationally driven place, both on site and in social media.
Yeah. I know one of the things that you talked about when we first met was like the importance of you being a social first retailer. Right. What are the components of that in a store? Like, I can understand you're probably looking at data from like sales data from different regions from the online sales to kind of decide what makes sense to physically put in the store. But how do you take the social or inspirational element of that, and what components of that do you put into a store?
Yeah. So I think you can think about it as kind of in two different phases. One is creating special events that are socially very relevant, and then also you want it to be very present on social media. For instance, launch events, right? So if you open a store, but also then maybe a special event that you host at the store for a special product launch or brand launch or whatever. And the other one is kind of on an ongoing basis. So what relevance does the store play in regards to social media? And there you want to, for instance, have, if you are a social media first brand, you want to create a few areas in the store that are really, that are worthy to talk about on social media. So this is another aspect that we actually try to incorporate into our stores.
How do you think about that too? Because I think the retailer in me is drilled into, sales per square foot, and like, how do you use those social first spaces? How do you make those kind of flexible so that, when there's not an event going on, you could potentially have product there? Or do you not think about it that way? Am I thinking about it wrong?
No, I think we do have product there, but we do it in a more inspirational way and in a more in a maybe more unusual context or setup. So it actually kind of benefits the social aspect and also the inspirational aspect. And it's also one of the reasons why customers want to come into our stores over and over again, because there's something new to discover and maybe also to talk about.
That's amazing. Well, I'm really excited to dig into that social first commerce aspect with you on stage. Really excited too to talk about in more detail, all the elements of the physical experience and the online experience too, and how those two, the ways that you're investing in education, in resources, in technology to make that all come together when we're on stage together next Wednesday at 9:20 in the morning in Barcelona. I have to ask though, Andreas, before I let you go, if there were one other session that you had time to catch while you were at Shoptalk Europe, which session would that be?
I'm going to be there for the whole day. So as you asked before, and why am I going to Barcelona? I think there's one other session that I'm looking forward to, particularly. It's called Retail Moments, and it's actually two brands on stage. It's IKEA and especially Nespresso, because they're going to be Nespresso because they're going to be talking about their exceptional Barcelona store. So they built something there that deeply connects with community, etc. And I'm really curious to learn how their thinking is now after a while of running the store there. So that's I'm really looking forward to that.
Right, definitely some alignment there as a digital brand too, where a lot of people participate in that auto replenishment of their Nespresso capsules, and how that brand, how you actually taste it and get to connect with the brand or trial things in person. I can see where there's some alignment there. And obviously with IKEA as well, too, as IKEA switches up its formats, too. So Andreas, I'm so excited. If people want to check out Westwing before we get into our conversation in Barcelona, where's the best place for them to go and do that?
Westwing.com on Instagram, 8.6 million followers. Please join us and be one of those, design lovers that we cater to.
I am already one of them. I'm one of the 8.6 million. So I'm so excited that we get to continue this conversation again. Next Wednesday, Andreas and I will be on stage as part of a conversation about unified commerce. That will be at Shoptalk Europe. You can still get tickets at shoptalkeurope.com. Make sure to go there, check it out, join us if you can. And once again, thank you to Miracle for helping us bring Retail Field Report to Barcelona. We'll be covering live conversations with speakers and attendees at the show. And until next time, stay curious and stay connected. You can direct message me on LinkedIn to make that happen.